Welcome back for our final part as we leave the Fanshaws. Down there is the cellar of the house. The Pantry Wall's timber partition wall was probably built as the pantry or larder. It dates to the 18th century when the Mertens family made extensive alterations to Valence House. So from the pantry wall to the oldest wall in the house. This is one of the oldest walls in the building. It dates from the 15th century and at that time would have been on the outside wall. It reveals the techniques that were used to build the original house. Strong oak beams formed a frame for the building. Between the beams, panels were built of wattle and daub. Wattle was made of weaving twigs, usually from hazel trees, in and out of the uprights. The wattle was then covered and daubed with a mixture of clay, straw, cow dung and mutton fat. When the daub was dry, a mixture of lime plaster and cow hair was smeared over the surface to seal the cracks. If walls could talk.
Ann Fsnshaw, I'm an alchemist. Welcome to my laboratory, where I experiment and discuss. I will tell you what I do. Anne shares many secrets that I know. I vow that I do not attempt the vain and vulgar act of making gold, but have a virtuous purpose of producing potions to heal the sick. My alchemy does not seek the philosopher's stone, but everyday remedies which begin with plants. Special herbs, which I distill into cures for sickness. I am a spagyric alchemist. It is the year 1665, and the plague has returned to London again. King Charles, rightly restored to his father's empty throne, 5 years hence has left for Oxford. I have likewise departed from my city home to escape the claws of death, for there is no cure for infection. It is not a bodily humour. It is not wet, hot, cold, or dry. No, it is spread by bad air, and even potent perfumes do not keep it away. Whilst a remedy for the plague is as elusive as the elixir of life, I continue to transform simple substances into healing medicine. Removed to fresher air during this summer of great infection, I can dedicate myself to finding tinctures for disease. I have the gift of time, as I am a widow who inherited a profitable merchant tailor's business, and my grown children have their own incomes. My son Thomas is also an alchemist, educated by a great mathematician, and Nathaniel, a physician, who studied medicine in Padua. Alchemy was their father's hobby horse before his untimely death, but it is their first pursuit. They philosophize on the natural world, how it works, and the principles of science with their learned friends. The king approved their royal society in the year of his restoration, and they have inspired me to return to a former passion. I will explain my apparatus, if you promise not to tell. I will let you into the secret world of possibilities. Perhaps you suffer from headaches. You do? Were you born under the star sign of Aries, the ram? Or did they occur when the moon was in Aries? Do you have bunions on your feet, or ingrowing toenails? More likely if you are a Pisces, the fish. This is my astrological man chart. It maps the parts of the body with the stars in the zodiac which rule them. Geminis should take more care of organs and limbs which come in pairs, including arms and hands, and when the dominion of the moon is in Gemini, we should all be aware of its celestial influence on twinned body parts, but it is not the best time to treat them. As well as using my charts to diagnose the problems likely to affect someone at different times of year, I also use it to decide when to administer remedies. I would not provide balms for the skin when the moon is in Libra, but wait for a new moon to rise in another constellation, such as Scorpio, which rules the blood and reproductive systems. My astrolabe allows me to track the paths of celestial bodies, the sun, moon, stars and planets, at different times of the year, in the past, present and future. This instrument allows me to sight and observe the heavens. It represents them on discs which trace their movements. This helps me to explain the influence of the cosmos on man and our illnesses, and to know when to dispense my physic. Healing herbs are also affected by astronomy, particularly plants. Chamomile and rosemary are ruled by the sun, and poppy and cucumber by the moon. Purifying lavender by Mercury, and poisons like hemlock by Saturn. Some herbs I collect from the ground, others I order from the apothecary, and I store them in my arabelle jars. The herbs are picked when their stars are visible, as herbals and almanacs reminders. Here is rosemary, which cures many kinds of pain. It is an important ingredient in my treatments. I grind the herbs in my pestle and mortar, and then I distill their essence in my alembic still. Then I combine them with alcohol or urine, which I also examine to diagnose ailments. I detect the sweetness of sugar disease. So please, describe your ailments and submit your requests. Hurry now before I depart for Ireland. Changing the air is a great friend to good health. So I plan to move closer to my son Nathaniel, my daughter Flower, and my grandchildren, to retire there in my dotage, the evening of my years.
Hope you all found that barbarically interesting. And now the tree is done, you get to see that. And as we say goodbye to the house, the Dagenham Idol. Oh, cheers. Thanks. Here we are, that's us finished in the house. That's the little model of the Dagenham Idol, of course. We're looking right at the Archives and Library Centre here, which is, as I said the other day, new since I came, so that's something different. Ye rusty car. And we turn around and look at the house. It's a lovely house, so I can heartily recommend it to anyone if you want a decent visit. It took me a couple of days to cover it all, so yeah. And now join me for the last little bit of the tour, which is the gardens over there. So off we go. As you can see, the weather's absolutely lovely today. So I'll show you all that remains of the moat, and then we'll have a look at the garden. Hope you've all enjoyed the tour of the house. It's a big history and a long history attached to this one. But yeah, this is all that remains of its moat, really. And the big part that we saw on the way in. But this would have once surrounded the whole property, so. And here, this used to be Fields, Chad McCall 2014. This new mural was made by the artist Chad McCall, who set up a studio here in Valence House Museum Archives and Local Studies Centre from July to October 2014. The mural was painted with the generous help of local residents. The new work was, God, the sun's nearly burning my eyes out, was informed by the many conversations he had with the residents of Pantry Estate. It tells the story of the estate from when it was first built in 1921 up to the current day, and includes the personal memories of local people alongside the broader history of the area. And here it is. And this very friendly cat as well, I was just stroking just now. Yeah, hello again, you okay? Starting to flake off now, unfortunately, in places. Oh, that's the mural, the moat. Nice little area where you could sit here actually. Back to the house and gardens now, which is our main thing. It's a gorgeous old house, isn't it, this? It really is lovely. Get a picture of that. Right, and we're off over to the gardens now. The house closes between 12 and 1 for lunchtime if you do come and visit the house, so be aware of that. It opens at 10, closes at 12 till 1, and then opens from 1 till 4. It's well worth a visit. It's free as well, so lucky in that regard. Always try and leave a donation, even if a small one, so that's what keeps these places going. But when I came here last time to the archives, which used to be inside the house, that was 21, 22 years ago. Since then, this building has been built and the archives is now housed in there. So yeah, changes. A side view of the house, just seen at the beginning already, so I won't go too crazy with that. Welcome to the herb garden. Relax and explore the winding paths. Dig for Victory Garden, complete with replica Anderson shelter and all of the sights. Smells, sounds of this green space. Oh, how charming. And you can wend your way through these little pathways here. It does smell nice actually, because all the autumn colours and leaves and everything, you can smell something quite nice too. Oh, I don't know if I should actually be here. Don't think I should I? That's some kind of centre or whatnot in there. So, yeah. I'll leave that to its own devices. It brings us out here into the main bit of the garden. It's pergola. Culinary and medicinal herbs. Herbs have many uses. Before modern times, herbs were the only medicines available to most people. Understanding how to harness the healing power of herbs was an important skill that was passed down from generation to generation. Before exotic spices began to be imported to England, herbs were also used to flavour and preserve foods. Agnes de Valence. Feverfew, that's interesting, that one, because at Eastbury Manor House, Clement Sisley, the man who had it built, when he was dying or ill, they, in the records, I think at Chelmsford Archives or possibly in the private collection of the house, they have the apothecary bills And on those apothecary bills are lots of things to bring down fevers, including feverfew. Dyeing and strewing herbs. Herbs have many uses. Their strong scent was particularly useful in fragrance in the dark, damp homes of the past. The herbs would have been strewn on the floor with reeds, rushes, or straw to release a pleasant smell when people walked on them. The pungent smell of certain herbs would also have kept certain pests, such as fleas, at bay. And when boiled, some herbs would also have produced intense colour that was used to dye wool and cloth. Let the historical characters of Valence's past tell you about these plants. Woad, oh, that's a very ancient one. The Celts used to use that and paint themselves blue with it. The Romans thought it very, very barbarian, shall we say. Pot marigold, we also saw those at Eastbury. See, I've had a free week, so I've done a film-a-thon in that week, basically. I went to loads of different locations, Eastbury, here, a couple of churches, a pub. So yeah, it wasn't a wasted week, put it that way. Here's its pergola. Sorry about that, went blurry then. That's my, so I've got gloves on, you see, fingerless gloves. I think it makes the screen go funny when my fingers go near it. Oh, how charming and delightful. Dog roses, look. Still quite a few in bloom. And we go round this way. Then we come to the Dig for Victory garden with its replica World War II Anderson shelter in a minute. Holly in blossom. Before the advent of modern Christmas decorations, the foil and papers and everything that we've got nowadays, they were the Christmas decorations of their day, holly and all the things that were green at Christmas time. And people put them up very, very early now. But most people put their Christmas decorations up on Christmas Eve, and Christmas was celebrated in the old 12 days of Christmas sense, where you'd have a massive feast and binge and drink fest for 12 days. Same as Christmas carols before, really, the Victorians. They were very colloquial or regional, shall we say. Here is the Dig for Victory garden with replica Anderson shelter. Nettles play a crucial role in conservation. A key food source for caterpillars and butterfly larvae of ladybirds. Without nettles, they would go for alternative food sources, the vegetables in your garden perhaps, a nursery for ladybirds to lay their eggs. The eggs turn into larvae which feed the garden pests, aphids, whitefly, red spider mite. Oh, how charming. I'll point you this way because there's a school behind me. But yeah, this is the replica Anderson shelter. A lot of people were, if you were near railways or anything that was strategically dangerous or thought it was going to be bombed, you would get one of these. You could also buy them on a private basis as well. it's unlocked, which it wasn't the other day. Because this filming's done in 2 batches, you see. Put my flash on. Catherine Heslop. Gas mask. It's not just a garden, is it? And this would be your sleeping arrangements. Oh, my nan had one of those blankets. It was a darker grey. As soon as the winter comes, she insisted, when I slept over there, she insisted that I had it on. It itched like hell. Good blanket though, kept you warm. Cool. I don't know if they'd have had one of those in a genuine Anderson shelter or not. Would have, unless they put a chimney up, but that would have been a bit of a giveaway. And if you didn't have a chimney, well, you'd all end up like kippers. Nice little touch though. And these apparently could withstand anything but a direct hit. They used to have one of these in the Imperial War Museum, but in my opinion, renovations and changes to the Imperial War Museum have ruined it. Push the gate too. A little bit air raid shelter. That was interesting, wasn't it? And this way. There we go. Would have been a different world, wouldn't it? Like London itself, Essex, would have been a different world when places like this went up. Valence House and Eastbury and that. You get a nice little view of the house from here. Air raid shelter. And for your Dig for Victory garden. A lot of people did that. The moat of the Tower of London was turned into a Dig for Victory. Oh, how charming. Right, that's our tour of the garden. Hope you've all enjoyed this. Take care all. See you all on the next one soon. Which I'm not quite sure what order all these have gone on in. But yeah, you'll see them as and when they come. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care all soon. Or take care all. See you all soon.